I like it. What's going on, everybody? Dude, if you have ever thought I had a lot of energy, I just want to tell you, I found my other side of the planet counterpart on the other side of the gender spectrum who has some wicked awesome energy. And I told her today, by the way, her name is Kylie. She's hanging out with me, Kylie Ryan. And
Hey.
I told her today, like I literally booked you on the show just because you have so much energy. And like what I love is that we've known each other for a while, but we didn't know each other super well until we got to know each other a little more today. And I want you guys to hear this. Kylie is an expert in not only energy, but helping understand like what are the things that get in your way personally and how do you trip yourself up. And so on today's interview, what we're going to be talking about for you is how do you actually get more energy when you have more things to do, right? Because life, Kylie, is super hectic right now. People are freaking out, all kinds of stuff. And they're trying to figure out how to make their life easier, even though everybody's working like 1,000 hours to make sure it works. So I'm excited. If you're excited about talking about that topic, do me a favor, say energy excited or energetically excited in the comments. And Kylie, welcome to the call, to the show,
Welcome
to
to
something.
the call.
Whatever the hell we're doing. Welcome to the call. And by the way, if you get turned off by energy that's a little out of control, you probably won't like Kylie and I today. So feel free to flip off the video. But if you need a little bit of energy, say I need it in the comment section because it's about to get fun up in here. That's all I'm saying.
High vibe.
Dude, so Kylie, first of all, just so people know like a little bit about your background, talk to me a little bit about who you work with, like how you do it, and just let people know kind of like what your body of work is, if you will. And where you are, because they don't know what city you're in either. I mean, just you talk.
Yeah,
funny,
I'm in
where
Sydney. I'm in Sydney in Australia. I am a mindset coach and coach trainer. So I work with spiritual coaches and intuitives to help them have get more groundedness in their kind of mindset skills and their coaching skills and their business basics to get off the ground. And I also help like super high performing business coaches to align and integrate so that their inner world is fully congruent with their outer success.
Huge distinction, right? Is like making sure their inner world's congruent with their outer world. And before you get all like, not you, but people that are watching get all woo woo and be like, I don't know about this whole like mindset stuff. I'm not really sure. What I love about what Kylie and I are just talking about here is I want you to know that I think that there's some people that have a mindset right now that is this champion level mindset. And you're like, why are some people not freaking out right now? And it's people who have kind of like under the radar, like me, been doing things that are like, oh, by the way, I do meditate. And oh, by the way, I do breath work. And oh, by the way, I have a mindset coach. And like Kylie's one of those people who works on high performing achievers mindset. And so if you're willing to work on little mindset right now, do me a favor, type in the word mindset because Kylie's about to unpack a mindset can of whoop ass, if that's okay, if I can say it that way. Is that okay? A mindset whoop ass. I think that'd be a good day. So, dude, Kylie, what are some things right now in your mind? People like have said like, oh, well, I have all this time, but it's like nobody really has more time. Like now I'm homeschooling my kids. I'm the maid, I'm the chef, I'm the homeschool official. I'm all these things, right? Like talk to me for a second about what kind of things can we do and why are we getting so overwhelmed and everybody's in this panic mode or stress mode right now? Why are we taking on more work than ever before?
Yeah. Well, I think we're kind of being thrown into this cocoon, right? We're being thrown into our homes and being cocooned in our homes. I love like the idea of shifting from quarantine to cocoon.
I just said we need a better word than quarantine this morning. I was like, I'm sick and tired of saying quarantine. We need a better word. I like cocoon. I'll take that.
Yeah, man. We're in our cocoons. We're in our cocoons of transformation. So
I like it. Okay.
Oh, we're in our cocoons of transformation. So there's this, this situation that's happening globally, and I think, this type of thing has happened before, but it's the first time we've ever been able to talk to everybody and know what's going on everywhere.
And be able to communicate it and basically the whole globe to be relatively experiencing this at the same time, right? So you in Sydney and in China and in South Africa and all these other places, they're all experiencing it simultaneously, which is just never really happened before.
It's wild. It's wild. And mentally, right? Mentally, we're also experiencing it everywhere. Like in the past, when there was a pandemic, but there was no internet, you would just have the pandemic and you would be aware of it in your village, right? But now we're aware of it happening globally. So it's like we've got to contain the world
So you're
inside our
carrying
head.
the whole world on what's going on because you're now thinking about other countries. And most people, by the way, I mean, you and I have known each other for a while. I work with a lot of people internationally, but most people's world is like their own little town, city, village, maybe the state that they're in. But now all of a sudden they're being thrust into this world where they're evaluating the planet and this global problem, and the problem might be in their backyard as well as all these other places, right?
Yeah. And it's invisible, right? So there's these like a lot of quite interesting factors that are happening. Like we're being thrust into this situation where we're needing to think on a global scale and or being aware of what's happening on a global scale. There's this weird sense of dissonance between like the natural world, like you go outside and the sun is shining and the
Yeah,
birds
it's
are
all
chirping, the
normal.
pollution is down and it's all
Yeah.
normal. So like the outside world is going, this is like we're all cool, and
Yeah.
inside our minds there's like there is this impending invisible danger that's coming. And
Right.
so there's this kind of sense of urgency, and also then you're cocooned inside your home, and so all of the like practical things of like homeschooling your kids and making your meals and cleaning your house and keeping your business going, or dealing with the job loss or whatever, like all of
Yeah.
that is kind of all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just talking with a friend of mine from Hawaii today, and he was like, the beaches have never been this empty in Waikiki and on the island that he's on. He's like, since like since before it was like island times when nobody came to visit as tourists, because they literally are enforcing like a lockdown in your houses in Hawaii. And so I really love what you said here about this comparison between, the earth is the happiest it's ever been, but mentally, internally, people are really kind of freaking out, and that's kind of why there's this big disconnect. So what are some things we can do? Because again, I feel like I'm being tasked in a good way with 1,000 times the workload, right? Because I'm doing
100.
these interviews and helping people and doing all these things. But like, what can people do that feel like they are taking on that weight of the world instead of just their local town now? Like, what are some hacks people can do to drive their energy? And I mean, I've been hearing some of these, but what are the hacks that you would advise? If you were sitting on the phone and you were talking to the highest power CEO, coach, whatever you would be working with right now, what would you ask them? What would you check in with them on? What would you like immediately go into damage control with them on?
Yeah, I immediately like I work with people's power centers, and
Okay, tell me about that.
so power centers is kind of like a normal person word for chakras or evolutionary levels of consciousness. So there's lots of different kind of places that you can go with that. But if you
Yeah.
just kind of think about different levels, and you've got like 7 levels of power, and so each level of power has a different like thing that it looks after. It's like a different department in your body. And so there's like level 1, which is like survival, and level 2, which is like tribe, and level 3, which is your will, and level 4, which is organization and love and structure, and level 5, which is expansion and self-expression, and level 6, which is mind, and level 7, which is kind of spirit or connection.
So
And
all the way down from survival to spiritual, we're talking about
yeah,
this whole chain of like elevating that energetic level of thought. Yeah. Am I getting
yeah,
anything closer?
yeah, absolutely. And integrating them so that they're all working in cohesion. Because if you just like overactive in one and underactive in another, then you'll find that some areas of your life get like out of balance, and it shows up in your external world.
Got it. So
So
if one of those things is out of balance, shows up in your external world in the form of what? Overeating, getting stressed, like what? How does it show
boom.
up?
Yeah,
Or
so it might
all?
show up it could show up in multiple ways. So could show up as um, anxiety, depression, like a level 6 problem is like anxiety, depression, worry, stress, not being able to sleep, overactive mind, thinking about all the things, doing 1,000 what if calculations, like what if this happens, what if that happens, and trying to like chess play your way through life, which is very difficult right now because all of the variables are changing like minute by minute.
Mm-hmm.
And so that might then lead to you kind of going, oh, I can't like deal with this and I need to numb out. And so you might like have some glasses of wine or overeat, or, try and
What? Yeah,
numb.
nobody's doing that right now. Clearly,
Nobody,
I think that
nobody.
I heard somebody call it today the quarantine 15. I thought that was
Mhm.
pretty funny, like the quarantine 15, like a freshman
Yeah.
15. But yeah,
The quarantini.
the quarantine, exactly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
absolutely. So one of the things that I do with my clients, like my high level clients, is I I immediately check in on where they're at on each of those levels to find which bit is out of whack. And then we know kind of almost like with laser precision where to go and where's going to give the best amount of leverage to help them be in themselves and be solid and calm and certain and in their own kind of sense of peace and power, so that they can then go and do the most impactful actions and leveraged actions in the world.
Got it. So how do you get to that?
Let's start with a sigh.
Totally.
Yeah. So how do you get to that? Well, you can just notice, right, where your energy is at, like right now. So wherever you are listening in, it's like just taking it a moment to kind of self-check. So stopping, taking a deep breath, and grounding in. So this is a bit of a woo-woo term, but it really works, right? It really works. So just kind of imagining like dropping an anchor, right, deeply into the earth. And then you're like, oh, okay, so I'm connected to the earth. And when you have that anchor in place, that kind of gives you a sense of stability, right? A lot of people are saying in uncertain times, in hectic times, in crazy times, like we don't know what, in fearful times, and so we feel ungrounded and we've lost our center. All of the things that we used to use as our center, like our routines or our favorite kind of things that we used to do, or favorite cafe that we would go to, or favorite people that we would talk to.
It's all
of that
in flux.
Stuff has been like taken. It's like the rug has been like taken out from under us. So we need to like lock in.
Take that extra minute, right? It's so hard because I think people don't, I mean, again, for me, doing the breath work and stuff like that, like we were mentioning, it's so easy to just say like, I got too many things to do. I don't have time to literally just do that one simple thing. Like you said, to take that exhale.
One, just like it doesn't take long. It's one breath. And here's the reframe on that. So everything that you do, like every action that you take from a state of stress and like craziness is going to be infiltrated with that frequency of like being unstable. And so any action that you take is going to have that frequency of like inside it, and it's almost like
frantic or frenetic, like just that
frantic
real intense.
or frenetic. Yeah, if you think of like a machine that's got like a screw loose and it's just like, and then eventually.
Wait, are you saying that I'm a machine with a screw loose? Is that what you were insinuating? Because I feel like, imagine you were a machine. I'm just kidding.
Imagine that you were a machine. I can be a little bit.
No, but I think there's a lot of people like, I mean, can you relate to that for a second? Like that machine is vibrating because that screw is loose and it's like just not getting where it needs to go. I mean, I can relate to that. That's a super powerful analogy.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that too. So it's like you need to take a minute to just tighten your screws up and just.
Well said. Okay.
Like take a minute, like stop and give yourself just like a moment of pause, right? A moment of pause. And there's this, we've got all these things coming at us from every side in terms of external stimulus, from the media, from requirements with our kids, like mom, make me a sandwich, I need a snack, let's do our things, right? As well as like emails and stuff that's going on, and Facebook, and all of these different things that are kind of coming at us. And if we don't take a second to just like create a gap between the external world and our internal space, then everything that we do will be reactive. And so it's almost like you're getting buffeted here and there from all the different things. So we need to take a second to find our center. And when we find.
So hold on, because I just want to make sure you said some really good stuff there, and it's kind of hitting for me in a good way, right?
Yeah.
Is you're saying like, so outside the world's like, oh, look at how happy and amazing my life is, but we are still spinning like these machines with the screw loose, and this idea that our heads are going that strong. You're saying we need to take a second to actually connect to that same universal moment that like things are better there, but we're further disconnected from it. Is that accurate?
Yeah, Absolutely. It's like there's actually in the natural world, things are actually becoming more peaceful.
Yeah,
So
and so
when
interesting, right? So inside your
yeah,
mind, things are chaotic, and outside, things are actually more at peace than they've ever been, which is interesting, right?
yeah.
Okay, so step one is we can, take that second and enjoy that moment and do it. What would be a
Mm.
couple of real practical things? And everybody's always after like what the tangible pieces are. What are the things that people can do to go, okay, if I buy in this idea, right? Like if I buy in this
100%.
idea that I'm going to be grounded because I'm stressed out and blah 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 blah, I'm going to
Yeah.
give myself 3.5 seconds to ground myself.
Yeah.
What are some hot tips on grounding to keep their energy right?
Okay. So hot tips on grounding. If you can, I know it sounds, it's going to sound woo woo for people who have
It's
like
okay.
new to this work, but we're just going to do it because it's like you guys need these tips.
Let's do
So,
it. Give it to me,
so,
man.
so barefoot on the ground. Like if
Yeah.
you can go outside and like actually just put your bare feet on the ground and like
Mhm.
turn your face up to the sun and take a few deep breaths, like there's so much benefit in that and just allowing yourself to just be in nature for a second, even if it's
Yeah.
just in your backyard, like
Yep.
connecting to the sun and connecting to the earth simultaneously is super powerful, like way more powerful than your mind will tell you that it is.
Right. It seems like that's not that big of a deal. And I'll tell you, I mean, I'm barefoot right now. I've been outside multiple times today to do that exact same moment. And I think this is kind of the secret stuff that like when you're talking to people, they don't tell you because they think you're going to look at them a little funny. Is
Or
like,
it's too like simple or
yeah,
something.
it's too basic. And I think, just that idea of, being able to be barefoot and go outside, put your feet in the dirt. And by the way, this is not on the cement, not on the concrete, not on the asphalt. This is go
No,
out and put your
like
feet in the
dirt.
dirt,
Yeah.
dirt, grass, something like that.
Grass.
That's like actual organic material, not something that we
Yes.
created, and go and do
Yes.
that because it is, I mean, and again, it's so silly to just say, look up and let the sun hit your face. But if you think about those moments when you're on the beach or when you are, in a spot where you are just enjoying the sun and you're barefoot and whatever, you're like, how happy are you in that moment?
So
And I think sometimes
happy.
we forget that even when we're in the stress and strain of our video conferences every day and all these other things we got to get done, and we're trying to save the planet, literally, what our perception of the planet is, because the planet's happy, but our world or our world view is that same power is
Yeah.
available
Yeah.
from barefoot outside in the dirt. Like how easy is that? And I would just say try it. Like if you don't believe it, try it and see just how it feels for you. And if it sucks, then don't ever do it again. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to suck.
It's gonna feel good. It's
Yeah.
gonna feel good. And your mind might be like telling you these stories, oh, this is stupid, or oh, whatever, like, oh, Jason
They
and
are.
Kylie,
They
like
are going to tell you it's stupid. They're going to say Kylie and Jason are bonkers, and
whack.
they are the ones with screwed loose. Um,
Yeah.
what are some other really helpful things that people can do to kind of balance out? Because you mentioned this thing between inner world and outer world. What is
Yeah.
people are always trying to find that balance and all those things. What's
Yeah.
your thought on that piece?
Okay, so there's this really interesting strategy for balancing like when crisis happens and things seem to be like going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There's this like three step strategy around minimizing the crazy crisis inside our heads.
I love it.
So the three ways that we make something that is a small crisis, and like this can happen. Obviously, it's happening on a global scale, but this could happen anywhere in your life at any point in time. So the way that we take a problem and we make it really fucking crazy is by making it personal, pervasive, and permanent. So these are the three,
Writing
like
that
this
down,
is
by
the
the way.
3-step
Somebody
strategy
somebody
for
type that in the chat for me so I don't forget it. Personal, persuasive, and what was it?
personal, pervasive,
Oh, pervasive.
and permanent. This is what's called an authorization strategy. It's like how to make a mountain out of a molehill.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to unwind this, we need to know the structure of how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we make it personal by going, oh my God, this thing is happening. And it's
going to
like,
happen to me. It's in
it's
my
going to happen.
neighborhood. It's in my yard. We're all going to die.
right? We're all going to die. What if my family dies? What if like I can't pay the mortgage? What if I can't support my kids? What, like, this is, oh my God, this is all and not just that, like, not just it's going to happen to me, but this is my fault. I should have prepared better. I should have planned better. I should have been a better husband. I should have done more in my business to have more savings. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have, like, I am responsible for this. And so you kind of start beating yourself up about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just take a deep breath. So when that happens, you're like, oh, so just take the deep breath. And so the exhale, by doing the long exhale, we're activating our parasympathetic nervous system, which helps us to just let go, right? There's some science behind the sigh. So in order to unwind the personal piece, you go, you know what? This is not just about me. Mm-hmm. This is not just happening to me. And this is not my fault, right? This situation is happening collectively. It's not just about me. It's not my fault. And there's also an opportunity for me to move forward in this. There's an opportunity for me to transform and learn new things from this. Mm-hmm. So it's not about blaming the self, but it is about going, okay, so with compassion and love, how can we learn from this? How can we grow from this? So that's the first one, is personal, unwinding the personal thing. It's not all about me. It's not my fault. The second one is pervasive, right? And the pervasive thing is happening like all over, because this issue actually is pervasive. It's like, it's affecting business, it's affecting the economy, it's affecting the things. So it's like, it seems like it's everywhere, but it's not everywhere. It's only everywhere when you like read all the news and you're focusing on that thing. So what you focus on expands. So, and there is a lot of information coming into us going, everything's bad. Like, it's all like people are dying. And that's not to say that they're not, they totally are. And that's awful. And we, can feel sad and grief and all of those things about that. And that's not the only thing that's happening. Like we can also,
it's not the only thing.
It's not the only thing. There's also birds are singing. There's also pollution is going down. There's also the opportunity to like have cuddles on the couch with your kids on a Wednesday at lunchtime. Like there is an opportunity for other good things to be happening and for you to be focused on the other good things that are happening. So it requires some mental discipline to go, it's not all everything bad out there. There are also good things happening like right now for me in my world. There's also good things happening. So it's not everything.
So making it so, okay. So number one is the personal. It's not just like, it's not my fault. It's all those things. Like it's happening to everyone, but the pervasive is it's not everywhere. And it's not everywhere. And there's not, it's not everywhere. It's not everything. There's other things that are happening at the same time. I love that.
It's just this area. Like even if it's just the economy, right? It's just certain industries in the economy. Like some businesses are booming right now. So it is just particular areas and particular places in the world that are experiencing this really hard, right? But there are other people and places and experiences internally and externally where it's actually, there are good things happening.
Got it. So what about this last one, this permanent piece? And I don't mean to rush you. I just want to make sure we get through these, because I think this permanence piece is where there's a hard reality from people that are saying like, well, but we don't know the end. So therefore it then feels permanent.
Right.
So, like nobody said like, oh, like there's all these fake dates out there. There's all these fake dates of like, well, schools are going to reopen this day, so it'll be fine. But then it moves and then it becomes more and more permanent in most people's minds. Right?
So
how do you handle that one?
How do we handle that one? Yeah. Okay. So how we handle that one is, well, our sense of permanent is like, okay, we have this problem now and it's always going to be like this, or it's going to get worse. right? It's like
always
there's
or
this, it's
forever or
always or forever. So using that kind of language, like, we're never going to be able to go on a holiday again. We're never going to be able to go out of our houses again. Like,
yeah.
oh my God, are we ever going to be able to catch a plane again? Oh my, like all of
Yeah,
this, right?
those are truth. By the way, do hashtag truth if you had some of those thoughts, because I was like,
Right?
I'm gonna get to travel again, right? Like
Oh
I've
my
had that
God.
thought. I was like, we were supposed to go on a family vacation to Europe, and I'm trying to get. I've never been to Australia. Like, there's just so many things that need to
Dude,
happen, but it
you got to
might not
come.
happen. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you've done that, do
Yeah.
me a favor and say truth in the chat. So that's where people are at.
So that's where they are at now. And so what's happening there is that they're taking this current situation and extrapolating it out through time and imagining negative events happening out in the future. So they're going, okay, they're taking this problem and we're going to expand this problem out through time and make it permanent.
Mm-hmm.
And what history tells us, right, is that no problem is permanent, right? Even if some people die, even like obviously that's sad. But even if bad things happen, it doesn't happen forever. This too shall pass. It is
Right.
going to be just for a period of time. And even if it does like change the face of even if it does change the face of how we relate to each other, even if it does change the face of the economy globally or the way that we travel or the way that things are done, things will come back to a new level of peace and cohesion and balance, right? There is the contraction and the expansion that is just the natural order of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we will return to a sense of calm. And the other way to kind of unwind this permanent is like going, okay, so I'm imagining all these negative things happening out in the future. What if I went out to a time in the future where this is okay again, right? Like maybe I am catching a plane and going on a holiday, and maybe it's
just allow yourself to see it. Really,
just
is what we're
allow
saying, right?
yourself to see it, allow yourself to imagine the time when this is over,
Mm-hmm.
and allow yourself to be in the present moment, right? So often our worries and concerns and thoughts and fears, they're about the future. It's a non-existent future.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yeah, you're thinking about
non-existent.
something that doesn't even exist yet, and
You're
you've created
thinking
a
about.
totally alternate reality that doesn't exist, right? This is the Back to the Future moment of like you're already living in a future that hasn't happened, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're stressing yourself out and you're giving yourself all of the cortisol and the stress and the crazy,
Mm-hmm.
the adrenaline
Like it's
as,
happened without it actually happening.
as if that were real. And so you're
So
making that real in your body.
yeah. So guys, if you're connecting with this, if this has been really helpful for you, do me a favor and say helpful in the chat, or just tell Kylie what has been the most helpful thing for her, for you to get from her today. Because again, I'm doing these videos, as often as I can, just make sure you guys connect with different people, because here's the truth. Some of you guys are going to connect with Kylie versus some of you might connect with me differently versus some of you might connect with like Rhonda Britton, who we had on her, all these other people. And Kylie, I just have to say thank you, because I think just this whole area of this like personal and pervasive and permanent and giving us tools to handle it is so valuable. What would you say is, if this was the only thing you could tell people, because you could tap them on the shoulder and let them know one quick thing if they were
Yeah.
stressed out that they could do, what would be one quick thing? And then we'll wrap this bad boy up.
Okay, so I've been doing it all the way through. So
I like it.
drop into your feet on the floor. So just connecting into your feet on the floor, wherever you are. You don't need to be barefoot. Just connect into the feeling of your feet on the floor, your hand on your heart, and take a deep breath. And if you can feel your heartbeat and you can feel your feet on the floor, just know that you have everything you need to meet the next moment with grace. You have everything you need right now to meet the next moment with grace. And you just take it moment by moment.
I love that. And Kylie's got 2 kids. You said 5 and 7, right?
5 and 7.
So you've been doing that. You still are running your business. You're still doing Zoom calls with random people from the US. You're still doing all the things that you're doing. And you're taking the time to be grounded and stay connected and do that. Thank you so much for being on today. I'm super grateful. If people want to track your information down, obviously I'll tag you in this, but what's your Insta? Do you have a YouTube channel? You have what do you have that people can go check out and snoop some more Kylie if they love you?
For sure. So my mind coach is
My mind
my
coach.
mind
Yeah.
coach is my thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
mymindcoach.com.au, my mind coach on Facebook, on Insta. That's me.
Awesome. So check out
Yeah.
mymindcoach.au for Australia. If you didn't know that was how that works, they do have a
Yeah.
.au down there.
I have the
And
mymindcoach.com too, but
I
yeah,
like it.
sometimes.
Yeah. Perfect. Dude, shoot it out down there. And do me a favor, guys. If this video helped you, please share it with somebody or tag somebody in the comment section that you know needed to hear it. I saw a quick shout out to Fallon. I don't know how much you watched this video, but you tagged a ton of your team in here because they needed to hear it.
Awesome.
So thank you guys so much for just being a part of this. If you want more videos like this because they're helpful, do me a favor and say more videos, because the more you guys comment, the more you interact, the more you share, the easier it is for me to put out more content like this. Kylie, thank you so much for sharing your energy
Thank
with
you,
us, because I love
Jason.
that you went on like a high energy and then you have this like super calm energy. I love your ability to play inside that energy. It's been awesome to play and hang
Yeah,
with you
man.
for the last little bit. I hope you have an
Yay.
extraordinary rest of your week. Thank you so much for
You
being on.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.